Hi, welcome to the Q&A session. We get lots of questions on the channel and we thought it would be better to actually do a video with all the questions rather than type out the answer 300 or 400 times.
Right, here we go. So the first question is, does she remember her babies at all, or is it all forgotten? I'm going to say she's probably forgotten all about them.
I think that's true. She's very in the moment, and I think when she was in the shelter, she'd done her bit to get her puppies healthy, and the puppies she adopted, and she's now living her new life. That's what I think. We sometimes put the videos on of her and her puppies, and they're crying, or she hears the cry and she looks up. But to be honest, Holly hasn't had any puppies, and she does that.
Yeah.
So I don't think she misses her puppies, personally.
No, I think it's nature that she's done her part, and now she's living in the moment that she's living here. So no, we don't think she is missing them. I mean, when she was in the shelter, we were told that she was getting to the point that she'd had enough of them, and when the puppies were ready to be taken or to move away from her, they did move them away, and apparently she seemed much better once she was away from her puppies. So, and by the time I went to go get her, she would have been separated from her puppies for about 4 or 5 weeks, and she didn't, as far as I know, she seemed much happier once she'd stopped being a mum. So hopefully that's answered that question. It's your turn.
Okay, this is a question from Evelyn Valar. If I've pronounced that wrong, I apologise. If you could put a harness on her, it would be better for her throat. A harness with the shoulders free, it would be perfect for your beauty. Ruby's actually got 3 leads, hasn't she? She's got a harness, she's got her extendable lead, and then a short lead that we keep her on if we're sort of going through a town or we're around busy people. So yeah, we do sort of change how we have control over Ruby depending on the situation. She also, as well, didn't she chew?
Yeah, she ate 3 in the space of like 48 hours. So when I first went to the shelter to collect her, so we didn't put one on her for probably about 4 weeks. So I think what the video that the lady's referring to is the first video of when she was on the beach, and we couldn't put a harness on her at that time because she would have just chewed it off.
Yeah.
But she does. We've now got her a harness, and touch wood, she hasn't managed to eat her way through it.
So to answer your question, we do have a harness, and we do use it now for different situations. But so, for instance, a couple of nights ago, we took Ruby into quite a busy town to get fish and chips, and a harness probably wouldn't have controlled her the way that we would have liked. So she was on an extendable lead so that we could do what we needed to do. We could keep a sort of a tighter rein on her while she's excuse me, while she's literally learning the ropes.
Yeah, and she doesn't tend to pull anymore either, does she? She does walk by your side. Yeah.
Cool, so we hope that's answered that question for you.
Okay, so it's my turn.
It's your turn.
Okay, so a couple of people said we didn't rescue her, Takis did, we adopted her. This is a good question because they're right to some extent. We have adopted her, and yes, Takis did rescue her from in the mountains with her puppies. He physically rescued her. We are at the moment trying to rehabilitate her and rescue her from
her past life,
from her past life, because she does have issues. She clearly was someone else's pet before Takis found her, just because of her behaviour and everything. So she clearly was someone's pet, but she's got a lot of issues, hasn't she? Well, emotional issues.
Yeah, she doesn't like to sort of be on her own. She wants to be with us, but I would say that Takis had rescued her from her situation, and then we rescued her, and will continue to rescue her for the rest of her life from being in a dog's home.
Yeah, because Takis will say a dog should never, their life is not in a shelter. They shouldn't be in a shelter. And as I left the shelter with Ruby, he actually said to me, people often think that I'm quite sad when I see animals leave the shelter, and he said, I'm not sad. He said, because they shouldn't be here, it's not a home, a dog should have a home, and I'm actually quite pleased and relieved that they're now going on to live the life that they should be living.
And the other thing as well, we had to go through quite a stringent vetting process in order to be able to even sort of get to the stage where we are, where we could adopt her. And part of the things that we had to do was prove that we weren't going to leave her on her own for any long length of time, and that we had other animals that were suitable to be with Ruby, and that we lived in a place where we could exercise. So we believe that the rescue of Ruby will continue from the day that we picked her up right through to the day that she dies. So that's why we say rescue rather than adopted.
Yeah, and also we're both experienced of having pets. I've had dogs all my life for 40 years. Yeah, for 41 years of my life, I've always had dogs in my life, and Ruby needed to be with people that were experienced owners because of her character, really.
Absolutely. So we hope that's answered your question. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Is it? No, it in, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, I answered the last one.
Okay, so Lisa Klein Nagelvort, I apologise if I pronounced that wrong. You are amazing. I'm so happy for Ruby. I have one question. Does she have any separation anxiety? I have a rescue dog as well, and he really has a lot of separation anxiety. Yeah, she excuse me. Yeah, she does have separation anxiety, and it's probably, the more she's settled here, I think it's becoming more obvious.
Yeah.
Because we're not seeing sort of the other little things, like when she first came to us, she didn't have a lot of manners. She wouldn't sit when we were she was on this table at one point.
Yeah, when we were eating, she was trying to jump on the table.
And now we've sort of installed those manners, the separation anxiety seems to be the real big thing. But we're looking into getting some what's they called? Adapter.
It's coming today, actually, isn't it? Yeah, we've had it delivered. I spoke to the adoption coordinator, because I'm still in contact with the shelter, and they suggested that they gave a suggestion of a diffuser for her to see if that would work. So that's coming today. So we're going to give that a try.
And I think as well, it's going to be the fact that she needs to start. No, not she needs to start. It's going to take a time for her to realise that we are coming back when we go out.
Yeah.
And that we're going to, and that she knows that we're not going to abandon her like she's been abandoned before. So when we looked at the videos at the shelter and everyone was saying, oh look, she can open doors, she can open windows, she's trying to escape. It wasn't that, it was the fact that she wanted human contact.
She didn't want to be left.
And although she's great with other dogs, she wanted to be with the volunteers and with Takis. And that hasn't changed at all in the time that we've had her. She wants to be with us pretty much all the time.
Yeah, which I think is why she was someone's pet and she was abandoned, because dogs live in the here and the now, and at the moment she's really happy and settled, and the minute that she's on her own, she completely freaks out, doesn't she?
She's a different dog. So hopefully that's helped answer your question. She does have separation anxiety, but it's something we're hoping to get on top of.
Yeah. Right, the glass of questions. Here we go. Right. Someone said this was a question relating to the garden, because we put a post on of Ruby looking through the gate and looking a bit sad, as she always looks.
She always looks sad.
She always looks sad if she's not getting her own way. So this question says, I'd switch out the toxic flowers and set her free. So
Ruby lives 500 yards from the beach and about 200 yards from the countryside, and our garden is maybe the bit she's not allowed in, maybe 7 metres long by 4 metres long. We have the plants in the garden and the flowers purely because two reasons. We absolutely love flowers and
nature,
and we're keen to attract bees and butterflies and birds into our garden, and we want them to have a space where they don't feel threatened by our animals running up and down.
Yeah.
We had the gate up before Ruby was even an option of us being able to rescue her, because we've got 2 other dogs, and the same thing applies. We don't want them down there scaring off the nature, eating things, and so that's why we put a gate up. So it's nothing to do with Ruby, and she gets 3 good walks a day in the countryside or on the beach.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, and she is allowed down there if we're just sitting out down the garden, so where we can keep an eye on her. But if I'm gardening down there, I can't have her with me because I can't see what she's doing, and I don't really want. She does like to chase bees and butterflies, and the last thing I want her to do also is to be stung. And also eat. I don't want her eating bees or butterflies either, because that's going to be a big vet bill. So it's kind of for her own safety in a way as well, isn't it?
Yeah. The bit that she is allowed in outside is bigger than the bit that she isn't allowed in.
Yeah.
So I don't think you need to worry too much.
Yeah. Please don't worry, because she's. I mean, like I say, we live in a very, very rural area, and she's
close to everything we need that she needs.
She's more than happy going on the beach, isn't she, for a massive walk?
Absolutely.
So I hope that's answered. Well, it's probably not answered your question, but
Explained our thinking.
Yeah, I hope you understand.
Okay, so a couple of questions.
So glass.
Right. Is this the mama formerly known as Sofia? And that was from Vinny Vidavici, Karen Munro. Yes, she is definitely the Sofia that is formerly known as supermama, and we're very lucky to have her because she's amazing. We're really lucky to have her. She's a really welcome addition to our family.
Yes, we were very, very lucky that we were chosen to adopt her, because there was a lot of people interested in her. But yeah, we were very lucky that
she's in our life and in our family.
She's in our life, yeah. She's not the lucky one. She's getting what she deserves. We're the lucky ones, really, aren't we?
Because we get to enjoy it.
Yeah, definitely.
So I hope that's answered your question.